So often in our lives, we tend to focus on what we do not have, or what we wish we had. We compare ourselves with others. We are longing for different parts and experiences, in our own lives. And to be honest, we feel as though boundaries are limiting us, They're keeping us from reaching our full potential. Let me draw your attention to the Bible in the book of Psalm chapter 16, verse 6. Psalm 16, verse 6. The psalmist says this, and I quote, "The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Surely I have a delightful inheritance." That sounds so sweet. Allow me to repeat it again. The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Surely I have a delightful inheritance. Whenever we hear this phrase or these words, boundary lines, to be honest, we think about restrictions. We think about limitations. But when you read this specific verse, and especially when you look at the entire chapter of Psalm 16, we realize that the psalmist is simply upholding an attitude of thankfulness, an attitude of gratitude, recognizing that the boundaries that are at hand, it is God who has set them, and He has set them in pleasant places. What profound truth, that God has set those boundaries in pleasant places for His good, and I tend to believe for our own good. I believe this, ladies and gentlemen, that God comes and places certain circumstances in your life. God orchestrates certain circumstances in your life not to destroy you, not to hinder you, not to stop you, not to discourage you. But God sets those boundaries in place so that in your very own life, God Himself can be able to guide you and to bless you. I believe that the psalmist comes to remind us that these boundaries are not meant to hold us back. The boundaries we are seeing in our lives are not meant to hold you back. They're actually an opportunity for God to be able to express His power, His presence, in your life, so that in the long run, ultimately, you and I can be able to experience the blessings of God upon our very own lives. And allow me just to say this, children of God, that instead of you and I, dwelling so much on what we don't have, dwelling so much on what we are lacking, dwelling so much on what we ought to be having and what is not working out, what if today, right now, you took it upon yourself to look at your life and reflect on where the boundary lines have fallen for you in pleasant places? Where can you see the blessings of God in your life? Where can you celebrate certain relationships? Where can you celebrate certain milestones, certain blessings upon your very own life? I am rest assured that your life is so unique. Your boundaries are so unique. And just as this verse says, they have fallen for you in pleasant places. Take this season, take this time to trust in God, knowing that those boundary lines in your life, they have fallen for you in pleasant places, and you are a partaker of God's inheritance over your life. The Lord bless you and do you good. Amen.